What's happening? It's your boy Bobby G, your boy Wildcard Mar, and this is the Audible Sports Podcast where sports meets life and culture. And we still have not been canceled because it's episode 5, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got a question? Fifth. I was just going there. Ask me a question, whatever you say. Fifth.
That's why you my dog.
Hey, today's a special episode though. We got another guest going. Our second guest. Look like we are having no problem getting guests, and I love it. You know, nobody big man in us, but
Yep.
we couldn't be big man today. Would have been big woman because we had special guests, 2 old ladies that bet, and we're gonna talk to them about betting, women in sports, just all. We got a whole conversation, but without further ado, the 2 beautiful ladies that bet. And we have with us pictured on, and I hope I get this right for the screen, pictured on the left of the screen, we got Mindy, and pictured on the right, we got Tiffany. How you doing, ladies?
Tiffany?
Yeah.
Mindy. Yeah. I know.
Did I get it the right way?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out when we watch it.
Thank you for joining us. It is much appreciated. Man, first of all, it's hard. Like, it took me all of my life to find a companion who was female and who was into sports, let alone finding one that's into gambling and betting, which may make you a bigger sports fan than me. Like, first, let's start up before I get into questions. Tell us about yourselves in your own words.
Well, I mean, if you want to know a little bit how this all started,
No,
that
just
we
you guys.
had-
About you. I want to know
about
about
us,
Mindy,
okay.
and I want to know about Tiffany first.
Well, I was a college softball player, so
Hey.
always love sports. I also like to bowl in my spare time as well. And I am a professional handicapper, content creator, that sort of thing. That's what I do here for a living. So I love sports. I watch it. I was an accounting major. So I did a lot of the corporate accounting, the
Okay.
small business accounting, and it's a place where I did not fit in. So I am much better at being the business owner than,
Hey.
someone else.
There you
Yeah,
go.
love it.
Tiffany?
I don't know if you guys know this, but we're actually sisters. So
Hey, it's even better.
yeah. But it's crazy because we grew up together. You know, same parents, same house, but we are pretty much exact opposites.
It's true.
I am more creative. I actually went to hair school originally.
Hey.
I spent a lot of years in the beauty industry. But
Okay.
then I eventually went back to college as well. I currently do accounting, but I do work in the corporate world. Whereas
Okay.
Mindy's doing this full time. I do this more part time. When we started, it was COVID, and so she always is a kind of old fashioned because everybody tells us you guys aren't old, but we are in a lot of ways. Like, Mindy has a notebook. She writes everything down with pen and paper still. So I was more in charge of putting everything into computers and Excel and making it so we could all function.
Yeah, so now we have everything is like fully automated, and it's amazing. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
I'm not spending 6 hours inputting data anymore.
But yeah, and we have active home lives too. We're actually neighbors as well. So I live up the street.
Hey. Okay.
So it's pretty awesome. But I got 4 kids, 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a lizard. So I'm busy. And in all my spare time, we watch sports.
Right. And drink.
All right.
Yes, we do.
Hey, you can't do one without the other. They that kind of goes hand in hand.
Well,
But,
it's kind of like, we're from the Midwest, right? So it's kind of like one of those,
Hey.
like, bowling and beer go together, just like
Yeah.
watching sports and taking shots, right?
It is.
All right.
But I gotta ask this, ladies, what's the drink of choice? I gotta know that.
Well, it kind of depends. Like, I mean, like, is it where we're doing shots after every touchdown? That's some blackberry brandy right there. I prefer gin
Okay.
myself, and she's kind of more beer drinker.
I'm a beer drinker. Yeah. If I drink hard alcohol, I prefer rum. I'm part pirate as well, maybe.
I can dig it. All right, but to some real information. So, where did you develop your love of sports?
Well, this is what I was kind of going to go to originally, but my dad, or our dad, was a huge sports fan. and
Okay.
a very terrible gambler. So we started at an early age being like, okay, Mindy and Tiffany, don't tell your mom, but I'm down $800 and it's Monday Night Football and it's the Giants and the Redskins. Who we gonna take, right?
Yeah, no lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is real life here. But yeah, so we were very interested in sports from a young age because we always felt like we had skin in the game, and you're like,
Right.
and we're helping our parents, right? So they like, so we think we're cool that way, and it's really like kind of from that. My very first time I started charting stats is if I run down the Sunday, afternoon schedule, and if I flip a
Mm-hmm.
coin and I pick via the coin flip or me picking which one would be better. So
And this is
Right.
at like 10 years old. I mean,
yeah,
legit. Mindy has carried a notebook since I've known her. She's always writing things down. She's
Hey,
currently on like this three ringer right here. Yeah.
I absolutely relate. I can absolutely relate. I got
Yeah.
my notebook like right here next to me. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. So our dad would bring home a bookie sheet. I mean, this is back in the '80s when the gambling wasn't legal. Where we were, there was all we had was the newspaper and each other.
And then we had the
Mhm.
you remember this, I'm sure, but you had to dial the number on the phone to get
Yeah.
the final results for the football game. So it's one of those. They're like, we really need the Colts to win for our 18 parlay to come in, and obviously we never won any of those. So we actually kind of got into this to help people win more, right?
Mm.
We thought
Right.
there must be a better way than the way my dad was doing it, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what we came
And
up
we
with.
still try to like scheme it because we're still like, there's gotta be like an angle. Like if I do this, this, and this, that even if I come out 25 cents ahead, but there's like we're still looking for like we're just crazy. Like we're just into the
Right.
numbers, into the math, and
Yeah, so she actually got her master's in I can't think of
Like
the right word,
statistics and
statistics and
data.
data analysis, like that.
Nice.
And then
Nice.
I do some EPA work out there as well with some other folks that we do a whole bunch of pro sports and college sports modeling, right? Pace of play,
Okay.
efficiencies, things like that. So kind of became a little data analysis there, or analyst as well.
Okay.
We're
Absolutely.
like
So
the big
now,
sports nerds.
Yeah.
you said you
We
were
like to have
you
fun.
absolutely. Before we started recording, you mentioned you played. You were a college softball player.
Yeah.
Dude, tell us about that experience. Your experience doing that, going through that part of your life.
Well, I was 9 years old, and my dad made me pick between bowling and softball because the games and stuff would land on the same week. But I carried like a 189 average, so I probably should have just stuck with bowling. But I went ahead and loved softball, always had, and so I got a scholarship to play at University of Nebraska Omaha.
Okay.
You
Oh
may
my
have heard.
heart.
Yeah, so you may have heard of the UNO Mavericks. When I played, it was like, say, 95 to 98.
Mhm.
I only missed two games because of a broken thumb, and my coach was mad that I missed those two games when I could barely pull my underwear up, but that's another story. And then I think I broke my thumb the rest of the year. Like, I had one person dedicated to just like putting my glove on and wrapping it with tape. And so when the ball would
Wow.
come to me, it would literally like just hit off my glove, go to on the ground, and I'd throw them out.
Right.
So, but we had a really, really good team. We were Division II. We finished second, third, and fifth in the nation in the years that I
Okay.
played.
That's
So
fantastic.
I played in the Women's College World Series 3 times, and
Nice.
then my team UNO, they don't like to go by UNO anymore because that's known as New Orleans now. But Nebraska Omaha, or just Omaha, they made it to the College World Series last year. So I was pretty proud of them for doing that. They've
Absolutely.
come a long way. Yeah, it's right there.
Nice.
That's a stage. It's definitely
Yeah.
that's one thing I actually enjoy watching. I enjoy watching the women's college World Series more than I do the men's.
Oh yeah, and it's
Just like
crazy now with all the technology, bat technology. I mean, like it is a wild game because when I played third, and there was only 2 balls I didn't see when they were hit at me. One hit me right in the leg,
Ooh.
and when it hit the ground, the gal was still in the batter's box.
Yeah.
So I could have like basically ran up and tagged her. And the other one, Allie Viola, she played for Lincoln, Nebraska at the time, and she hit one by me, didn't even see it. So if it would have hit me in the face,
Ooh.
that's why a lot of those folks wear the face masks nowadays, because the ball comes
Yeah.
off through quickly.
Yeah, the hot corner's the hot corner for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta
so no one plays up anymore like I did. That's for sure.
yeah. 'cause
Gotta
they
protect the
can't-
money maker.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm happy that you ladies are here because obviously, well, Bobby, we're all Midwest people. We're all
Hey.
Midwest people, and as you can tell, Royals hat. Mindy has
Yeah.
a Royals hat. We have a lot of things in common. So kind of, tell the fans like kind of the, sports teams that you guys enjoy to watch in your spare time.
Well, we're college football. Like we're huge Husker fans. We grew up Husker fans. But our dad was the biggest Husker fan. He cried when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what we grew up with. We've got some relatives in Kansas City, and it's kind of the home team for the pros. So we've been Royals fans and Chiefs fans our whole lives as well. And I always joke because people, especially now that the Chiefs are popular, they're like, especially being female, they think you're bandwagon. And I was like, I'll bust out my Matt Castle jersey for you any day. if you don't.
The Matt Castle.
Tell them they do not understand our dark and gloomy days. They do not understand our dark and gloomy days.
Where
Of
we
Matt
would be real happy if maybe we got 5 games that we won that season.
Exactly. They don't remember our Damon Hewitt days. They don't remember when we was sitting there.
Hey.
Royal was our quarterback. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah, I
stop.
remember when Trent Green just got lit up versus the Bengals right away, and
That was week one. Yeah.
I still have my shirt I wore every Sunday those years that says "My team makes me drink" with the big Chiefs logo on it.
I'm a Browns fan. I don't want to hear dark and gloomy.
Oh yeah, okay, you win.
Like,
You win.
yeah.
That's fine.
What did Bane say? What did Bane say in Batman? I was born in the dark. You merely adopted it.
That's a good one.
No, I love it. So all right. So I gotta
I
ask
played
this.
lots of ball in Shawnee, Mission, Kansas. There, just saying.
No, nice. That's exactly where I'm at. I'm out in Shawnee right now. So,
But we also like hockey. I lived in Arizona for a couple of years, and so I like some of the Phoenix teams as well. And
Okay.
we watch everything.
Yeah, because it's kind of like our cousins is a Blues fan, right? So we root for the
Nice.
Blues, and we were happy for him when he finally got his championship. We all cried together. It was great.
And the only thing that we really don't watch is like soccer and tennis. Because people will be like,
Are you taking in
like,
the World Cup?
I
We'll
don't
be like,
like
we have no
that.
idea.
That's the one thing that we do not have anything.
now it's funny that you say that. Soccer is becoming very big out here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
They love sport in Kansas City. The Kansas City Current are part of the
Yeah.
National Women's Soccer League. They got a beautiful stadium in downtown Kansas City that they're finishing building, and they're selling seats out like crazy. So that season starts in not too long until they start the season.
They were talking about, if they thought the price of the tickets was too high, which it was like $50. And I'm like, I don't think that's bad. I mean, I'd certainly go support them and take my kids for $50 a head,
Oh yeah. I'm gonna definitely go out and try to support them for sure. I'm just, I'm a busy guy. I'm like, where I'm Jamaican, podcasting everywhere, but no, literally. But and then of course, in 2026, Kansas City, we're gonna have a couple World Cup games here in Arrowhead. So it's funny that y'all say that soccer is getting really popular.
I saw that it was crazy that they are currently destroying SoFi Stadium. Did you see that? So they have to pick out the corners in order for corner kicks to even occur. So they're like literally gutting the stadium on the corners right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
But I
wild.
think,
Design flaws.
Again, nobody ever thought they were going to play soccer there.
No,
Like, you got these are things you got to prepare as a designer. Like I'm a graphic designer, so it's like don't it's the details, and as any designer knows, it's you prepare for what you don't expect. Like I tell you guys a goofy design story, you probably don't care, but like the Thomas we start with one everybody knows, MGM Grand. MGM Grand Hotel, remember, it was originally built with a big lion out front.
Yeah.
And you guys know why they had to take the lion away?
I have
No.
no idea.
because it's bad luck in Chinese culture to walk through a lion's mouth.
Oh.
Ooh,
So
okay.
they obviously
Yeah.
they get a lot of clients Asian through the hotel, and they would not walk
Yeah.
through the front of the hotel, or they would
Wow.
completely stay somewhere else. And they're trying to figure this out. And yeah, the designer didn't know this, so he had to spend like $5 million to redesign the front of a brand new hotel.
That's crazy. But I mean, that's
Right.
why it's important to understand different cultures and,
Right.
like,
So
that's
yeah, it's
really
the designer is
a good
probably
lesson.
yeah the designers in the well I won't call him an idiot
But yeah,
out
I
loud,
remember the lion.
but it was not his best moment probably in designer
Well,
so
yeah, he
far.
probably kicked himself for a long time, but yeah, I mean, you also can't blame him for maybe not knowing. But again, that's why some of that stuff, like commercials and stuff, they get out. You're like, how did this go through like 4
Hmm.
levels of approvals and this got on TV? But who knows?
Absolutely. And speaking of going through and rising up, you guys obviously females in the gambling space, gambling and sports, traditionally male dominated, although times are changing. What obstacles did you guys face getting into the sports gambling space?
Well, pretty much everything, right? Because we get discounted as saying that we have, men behind us, right? Which
Right.
we do not. This is basically all of our brains on paper, us two.
Hmm.
And we figured, we had to do something different that hadn't been, done before. So, like for
Right.
us, we go ahead and we chart literally every single bet that we make, and we feel like there are ways to get better. And
Hmm.
that's what we do. We've been evolving over the last like 14 years that we really, really tried it with basically a formula and playing.
Okay.
And then, like she had said, during COVID, that's when we said, well, we have a lot of time. So let's go ahead and get out on YouTube and see how we go. Because as you can
Right.
tell, the demographic is very different. You don't see ladies like us, you
Hmm.
see lots of middle aged, bald white men, honestly. And so, we had to go through the whole thing. Like, we have to win basically twice as much as a man does before we get
Okay.
noticed. We also get, harassed about our appearance, right? So I can be on with a guy that has no hair and a belly, and they'll be like,
Hmm.
Mindy, your lipstick is terrible. I don't even know why you're even here, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
there's
Yeah.
still a lot of the stereotypical stuff that you might expect.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I think it's getting better, and it's getting better every year, right? So we've been, pushing through that, and we're okay with it. We're up for a challenge, and we like to get better, and that's what we're here to do. We're trying to get better, and we want to make sports betting the norm for women rather than the exception, right? That's our whole
Right.
goal here, is to make this be less scary, right? And
Right.
so if they see folks like us, and everyone's like, and then they also hate our name that we came up with, which, all right, fine, like we can't do anything right. I get it. But we just kind of feel like, we may be oldish folks. We're middle aged, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to get older. And so as that goes, I
Right.
think this name will always stick with us wherever we go, also. But we wanted it to be like non threatening, also, right?
Hmm.
Well, and I think that also as women, we kind of have to approach it as teachers because I think that's,
Okay.
I mean, kind of what people expect. And
Right.
that's what we really are here to do that and show people that you can gamble responsibly and you can make it a reasonable side hustle if you know what you're doing. You don't just
Right.
blind bet stuff or chase your losses and stuff. I mean, there are rules. You need to be disciplined. And so that's kind of our message that we spread and how we try to get people involved. I mean,
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
lot of people, right from the basics, like they were like, "How do I place a bet?" Like, all right, here we go. Like, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because when I first started betting, man, them parlays, and I keep adding a leg, and I keep looking at the possible winnings. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna win it. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Right.
Womp
Yeah,
womp.
we are very strict, right? We, like I
Okay.
said, we are diligent with charting our plays. Like with the NBA, we're up to like 780, and we're about that far. Almost, we're over 800 in NHL this season, and we
Okay.
chart those with variance, with odds and buckets, and we look to see where those numbers hit so we can be on the right play. And that's what we want to do, is we want to give the people that follow us the best chance of winning, because it's no fun for me to be like, oh, today I have a feeling that this team's going to win, right? I want to have some actual data behind it. I want to be able to have you be able to trust me, because we all know, like, this is money. This isn't like a joke that you want to mess around with, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
and we feel like we need to be responsible and show that. And we have to prove ourselves over and over again. Yeah. And we do that by our body of work. I think all the people that have followed us have been pretty happy.
And we also bet our own plays. So we're not just
we're not the touts.
We're not just, yeah, like just throwing stuff in the wind. Like we're making money off our own plays.
Right. How difficult is it to overcome a situation? Say like you meet somebody in public and you're just having a general. Let's say you're at the bar watching the game, and you get into that random conversation while you're waiting on the bartender to give you your beer, and it comes to, hey, I'm a sports handicapper, and
a lot of
that
don't
initial
even know what that means. Yeah, because they're like, they're like, oh, you work with handicapped children, and I'm like, no, it's a little bit different, right? So you kind of have to explain it what it is, because they're very unfamiliar with it for the most part.
How do you overcome that initial reaction, especially because I know that initial reaction has to be like, really?
Like, we do a lot with humor, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do. And we'll be like, we'll have fun with it. So we'll be like, okay, hey, let's have a challenge, right? Like, let's do something like that. You like the Wild tonight, and I like, the Blues, whatever, right? I mean, and we kind of do it that way. And then you can kind of start explaining it. And again, we come across we try to do our best with not being confrontational, right?
Right.
Yeah, and all of that stuff. Well, because a lot of times, because we're friendly and we're talkative, and I'll hear a conversation, and it's just my nature that I'm like chime in or want to add to it. Absolutely. And a lot of people, and again, because maybe it's rude that I chime in, but I might just say something or give my 2 cents.
I do it too. I'm guilty too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I embarrass my kids everywhere because they're like, you talk to everybody. I'm like, I can't help it. But I've also been in situations where I make a comment about a game, they're talking about something, and then I had this one lady. She just kind of went off on me. I said something about the Vikings, and she was like, you need to do your research. And my son was standing there, and he was like, she does sports for a living. And we just turned around and walked away. I'm like, all right. And I'm like,
oh do you know how much research I do?
Right. That's all it is research, right?
Yeah. So again, but we'll talk to anybody about it, and we have fun with it.
All right. You also talked about teaching. Like, what kind of questions do you get from women who are getting into sports, fans of sports, who are now getting into betting? Like, what kind of questions do they ask you guys? Are they more open to, I guess, conversation because you guys are female, and obviously you can relate to each other?
Well, they're definitely open to taking our suggestions. I mean, so that is it's like our target audience, because I think that they kind of respect what we're doing, or believe us. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, where I think sometimes, some dudes might just be like, I already got this. Like, I know what I'm doing. But people who are new, I mean, we've had males too, but, and we explain like the odds and, what you're looking at when you're placing a bet.
But I think most women are scared to go ahead and make the initial play, where guys are like, I'm going to go after this. Yeah, this sounds fun. I'm doing it. Let's go. And it's almost like you have to talk women more into it, right? I mean, kind of give the pros and cons of why, or, why this is a fun thing, or why you don't need to know anything about sports to be successful betting. Like, you really don't. You can find someone like me that spends her whole life doing this, and you can just go ahead and tail an expert, right? I mean, that's what a lot of people do for plenty of things. And you can kind of think of us as investment advisors, only we're not investing in the market, we're investing in the sports market. So it's a little bit different. So I think it's how you have to frame it with getting over that initial hiccup of, ooh, this is gambling, this is bad, we're going to lose our house, all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, again, only you push the enter button. All we can do is help.
And I think with gender roles, women are just, naturally are brought up to be more risk adverse. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay.
But by the way we were raised, our dad was he was out there. He was a character. He made a lot of bad choices. Had some criminal enterprises.
Yeah,
So
your dad dabbled in some things.
Yeah.
so he basically raised us like boys. I mean, as far as like, don't be afraid to get out there, like,
Yeah.
So we were always kind of type A, whereas a lot of females maybe step back a little bit more to like male roles and stuff. But we were just kind of raised different. He was kind of ahead of his time, I think.
Absolutely.
He probably
Yes.
just wanted boys,
Well,
and you
there's
got
that.
girls. So.
Hey, I am a proud father of 3 beautiful young ladies, and trust me,
Awesome. See,
I know
I like
exactly
that.
how it's going. Yeah, I'm a girl dad at his finest. Like I can't
Oh.
wait to rough my little, especially my middle child. She really hangs around me a lot. I can't wait to rub her face in some dirt.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna have a boy no time soon, so I might as
Right,
well.
I gotcha.
But
You gotta toughen them up.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. But trust me, they're gonna get their shots at dad. So I'm gonna take it, with a grain of salt too. But Mindy, you said something that caught my ear. You said you can do this without knowing sports. How much
Correct.
backlash have you gotten with statements like that, especially from the men in this field?
Well, I mean, most people think, right, that the person they want to follow is the person that knows it all, right? That know it all. But women that come off as know-it-alls are what, like, the bitches, right? Like, we don't want to follow these folks. Like, we don't want
Right.
that. And so that's what I said. This is a game that you don't have to know the players, right? You don't have to know the injuries. You don't have to know any of that. And here's the
Okay.
reason why. We have an expectation with sports, especially pro, that everyone plays at about the same pace, right? And we know what people score. We know what the bench scores, right? We can fill in all of these variables that are out
Right.
there. And all we have to find is the little bit of edge. And you know who gives us the edge? It's the books. It's Vegas. So they're going to let us know who is out there injured. They're going to know who's not out there playing at 100%. They have
Okay.
all of the information. That's why a lot of people are, get up at 6 a.m. and just follow the line services, right? They want to see who the sharps are on, which way the lines are moving. Well, I want to get in before the lines, right? But there is a lot
Okay.
of smart people that are out there that are moving lines. So that is another way that you can do it. I think another way that you can be successful at sports betting, right, is that you have lots of people that you take a look at. So you have someone like me, you have someone like Bobby, someone like Mar that are out there, and you can gain consensus with these experts too, right? Because not everyone's going to have enough time to do what we do, and we understand that. And so that's why I feel like you can go ahead and not know anything about investing in Apple or Coca-Cola or whatever, but you trust your expert. It's the same thing, right? You don't have to know about who's the starting pitcher for the Royals today. You don't have to know if LeBron's going to play with that bum ankle tonight. Like you don't have to know that. Vegas is going to move it for you. Plus you have the experts that are looking at all the numbers. Like me, I never look at an injury report. It means nothing to me because I'm going to play against Vegas, and that's all I'm playing against.
In Vegas, like you
Okay.
said, Vegas has all that information. They've
Right.
already, had that in mind when they put the line out anyway. So,
Exactly.
man,
Right.
you ladies are very impressive. I am really impressed with the product that you put on. I definitely. So I got to say this. I was at the Highway Patrol getting my inspection for my car, and I popped on a couple of your episodes today that you put up earlier this morning. And the first thing I did, I was like, "Oh, these ladies are really impressive." And then I went to my DraftKings bet app, and I was like, I'm going to be making sure I make some money tonight. I looked at
Nice.
wifey. I said, "Baby, we eating steak and lobster tonight, baby."
Oh, hell yeah, that's right. Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people are crazy. They think that I'm crazy, right? Because like we go and we put up like 60 bets a night, and they're like, "Well, what do you mean you put up 60 bets a night?" And I'm like, yeah, we have a bankroll, we divide about by 60 and we place all of our bets. And we know that we're going to hit at, 55, 60%, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's how we play the game, because all of our bets, if you've watched them, right, we chart them. We know at what percentage with our modeling. So again, like
Mm-hmm.
it's a model specific to us, but we know that this model is good. I mean, we've worked on this a
So,
lot, right?
yeah.
And so we know that if this is coming in from Vegas, this line, these odds, this variance, it hits this percentage of the time. And so that's why a lot of times, I'll be out there playing like some big money parlays just because I want to make sure I play that 85%, Clippers are going to win outright today.
Okay.
And so I'll, because I'm not going to bet it straight up, but I'll bet those 85, 75% plays, personally. And I thought about like putting something out. I've put a couple videos out, but I don't know how successful they are or how much people like it, because it's one of those, like, you're not winning a lot of money, right? I'm putting up 25 to win 60. People want I want to put up 25 to win 500. And those
Mhm.
hit are, as you know, not very often, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh
that's
yeah.
one of the things that we have always done differently too. It's like we try to like $20 a day. I mean, if you add $20 a day, I mean that's $3,000 a year. I mean, that's real money. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you're responsible, I mean, you can still make money even being a small time bettor.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
we
Very
want to
different.
we want to get in as much money every day versus Vegas that we can, right?
Okay.
Because there's no sense in me not getting my money in, and so that's kind of how we've always done it, right? So then tomorrow, if I went up to, say, if I started with 2,000 and then I'm at 2,100 tomorrow, I'm going to take that 2,100, divide it by my 50 or 60 bets, and put that out there. And a lot of
Okay.
people think that that's scary, but it's different, because I kind of feel like what people have told us all along is you only want to play 1% of your bankroll. You only want to play
Your best bet.
your best bets, or you only want to play
Right.
this, right? And I think that Vegas is telling us that information for a reason, right?
Mm.
I
Mhm.
think it's way harder for me to hit 2 out of 3 than it is for me to hit 11 out of 20, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why
But you're
we
winning
put
the
it,
same money.
yeah, you're winning the same amount, but you don't have to win as much, right?
Right.
And so we've always played everything a little bit opposite than what Vegas has told us. Vegas
Mhm.
says, don't put your money in. Well, they don't want you to, because they don't want you to beat them, right?
Yes. Of
And
course.
they also say, hey, why don't you play this parlay? This is really fun, and we'll give you 8-1 on your odds. And we're like, no, don't do that. Just bet something straight up. And then you have people saying, well, let's do unit betting. This is a 5-unit play. But if you lose that 5-unit play, then you have to win 5 more tomorrow. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? And it's the same thing with, what's your best bet, Mindy? I don't know. I mean, I'm playing 60 today. If you can guess my best bet, I'd do it. Right? But,
And that's what, when we first started this, like, we went through so many ups and downs, and we almost quit so many times because, like, I would go 10-4 on the day, and I'd go on TV or I'd go on the internet and I'd give out one bet that was one of the 4 I lost, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, it's like, we've really struggled with that in the beginning, but we've definitely got used to it. I mean, we win some, we lose some, but
Right.
overall, at the end of the day, we generally come out ahead.
But that's what I say. Like, if you only have $20 to start this, okay,
Right.
bet 20 bets today for $1. And then tomorrow you're betting, 20 bets for $1.25. And then the next day after that, you're betting, like, you can do this with little money to grow that bankroll. You just have to know how to
Absolutely.
do it, and do it in a smart way. Because, again, if you just be like, man, I really feel like the 76ers are going to win tonight, that is not going to get you to where you need to be in this business.
If you want to,
This is a hard game. You have to remember, it's like your batting average, right? If you're a good hitter, you're 3 out of 10. You're going to miss 7 times. Well, if you're really, really good at this game, you're hitting at what? 55%. That means I'm going to have, 4-ish losing days out of 10. So it's a hard game, and that's why there's not very many people that can stay in it for very long, because you get discouraged as well, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
all I want to do is try to give as many tools as I can out there, because not everyone's going to be the volume bettors like we are, right?
Right.
and I think we do differently, but to me, I'm like, I'd rather make 20 bets than 3 bets, because you know what? I know I'm not going to win all 20, but I also know I'm not going to lose all 20, where I could very easily lose all 3.
Absolutely.
And so we just feel like it's just a safer way to bet our money.
We've tried lots of things.
Yeah, because I like that analogy because three out of 10 batting average is 300. You're a Hall of Famer in baseball, so
Yeah, right.
you, you can't look at the 7 misses. You got to look at the 3 hits that you got. Like
Yeah.
that puts you in the Hall of Fame, guys. Like so, that brings me to my next question. What are some of the ways? Because obviously you're not going to hit on every bet. How do you deal with some? There's probably going to be somebody out there. Oh, man, I was watching your podcast today, and I followed all your bets, and I failed and missed on all of them. How do you guys handle that? Like, hey, we try to do our best. We're confident in our our stats and our research. So I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some DMs of you old ladies.
We get a lot.
It's definitely gotten easier. I mean, you have to basically build your skin. Get
Right.
because it's definitely it's scary to put yourself out there. I mean, in anything in life. And so there's always haters. But we've actually found that we have a lot more positives than negatives, and that's what we focus on in the grand scheme.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we haven't gotten a lot of, like, I think maybe we're getting, maybe a little bit more well known, but I feel like as we've gone, it's gotten to be a lot less, right? Because I think all you can do is put it out there and put it out there consistently, and that's what we've done. Because this is a game that you have to look at an overall, like I said, an overall body of work, and we've been consistent. We do all of the hard work, and I think people know that. We also do things like, we do guarantees and things, meaning that if you have a bad experience, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, here's your credits back on your account. Come back and see us tomorrow, right? Because I think that's fair with this kind of volatile industry, because we want people to have fun all at the same time. That's what we want to say. We want to make sports betting, fun, and it can be. And I think it is something else that can drive women into watching more sports as well.
Right.
Yes, which
and it's
I
also
love.
very good for dating tips and things like that, right? Like like you said, you're looking for a woman that knows a little bit about sports, so she can be like, hey, I kind of like the Lakers tonight minus 8.5 against the Spurs. What do you guys think? At my first date, how about another one?
Yeah,
absolutely. Taylor, when you get tired of Travis, hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hey, all I know is
any way that you can, I think, involve more people in any activity, I think it's great, because I think that's what makes this world great, is all that diversity, and that's what I love the most. I mean, I love the love story. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Travis, but like our brother, he hates all of it. I was like,
well, I mean, look, I gotta admit, it was kind of rough this season to listen to Taylor and Travis all season, but
I love every second of it, and so maybe it's just because we kind of see something that we can empathize with when it comes to men's football.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, we also empathize with Taylor. I mean,
because look at her. All she's getting is, like half the world hates her. I mean, that's gotta suck too.
But that's awesome. When you're good at something, you get a target back.
I don't dislike Taylor, but I have got a couple of bad DMs from some Swifties because I said something bad about Taylor. So I'm like,
watch yourself.
But see, I just looked at it like this, and Amar, if we get canceled, I apologize ahead of time. I just looked at it like their story was like the live action white version of Love and Basketball. We just watched it play out in real time, and so if you like Love and Basketball, you got to be a fan of Travis and Taylor.
Of course. That's hilarious.
But Mar touched on something. I mean, obviously you have the haters, so that brings me into one, keeping them away. So part of keeping them away is making good bets. So what makes a good bet?
I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, I've never gotten that question. What makes
I did
a
it.
good bet?
He's a word
like our stat. Like I'm gonna pick this one, or I'm gonna bet this team versus.
Yeah,
this
like
team.
for so, like what makes a good? For example, I'm a semi-professional poker player.
Oh,
so when
nice.
I hear certain things, like this whole conversation, I'm translating in my mind in poker terms. So I'm like, okay, like in poker, for example, like
okay, I get it.
a good bet for me, like if I have a
Yeah.
straight, and there's a potential flush on the board. And
Right.
by the way the patterns have gone, the betting patterns have gone throughout the hand, uh,
I hear you
I can
saying.
deduce
Okay.
whether my opponent has the flush, so or whether he does or doesn't. But either way, if in order to win the hand, if I'm behind, I have to make a certain bet because he might not have the best flush. So I have to
Right.
determine like what's the perfect amount to bet to win the hand
Um,
if I'm behind, or
when we're in
get
Vegas again,
the
can we
most
talk
money
about
if I'm ahead. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be
So
awesome.
for
Okay.
you guys like going in, it's easy to say like the Chiefs are going to beat the Cardinals. Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
easy
they
to
are
say
gonna do
that.
that.
But like in those in between, get like okay, the Lions and the Rams.
Well,
Like
here's the thing. I mean,
how do we make that a good like what's a good bet?
okay, so for us, everything that we do is based off of analytics, right? Everything is stats. Did we miss you guys?
No, no,
Nah,
yes,
you're
you're good.
good. You're good.
Oh, you just
This is your so this is your solo, Mister Demure.
okay, gotcha. But I mean, so everything that we look at is statistical, right? So we're going to look at talent. We're going to look at, say, home and road scoring. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
take a look at what you've done all season long. And we put everything together with how we feel like you win in sports. So, like for baseball, it's a little bit more pitcher heavy, right? You guys know that. The better
Yeah.
Okay.
pitcher usually is the better winner. With hockey, it's usually who has the better kill percentage, right? That's
Right.
can stop a power play. That's going to be like the big things. But for us, again, we look at where our model, where it matches or can beat, give us an edge versus Vegas. So we put everything, together in a model, and then it actually spits out then based off of variance what we're going to play for the day. So every bet that we make, like I said, in order to be really good in the handicapping world, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're 57% win percentage, you're elite. And we do that often, right? So we play everything that's over 57% and above. And
Okay.
so again, like for me to say what's the best bet, I can give you my number one statistical best bet, and it may lose every single day for the next week, but my other nine may win, right?
Okay.
So this is a very very hard question to ask because we put all of these different things. We basically put our brain on paper with how we think a football game is won. Like we don't want to give out all of our
like what are the
all of our goods
the
here,
important
but
stats?
um,
And then ultimately, we're kind of like we know we're close when we're like
on the line with
matching.
Vegas.
Like if
Okay.
our stats come out and we look at what the line is and what we're predicting the score is, we're like, okay, well we're on something, and then from there we go to what in this is like how much of our variance is like are we sure that this is going to be on those numbers like plus or minus.
Yeah, so
I mean,
we are. I mean, I don't know if it's that's why we don't ever play anything by the feel, right? Because everyone's like, "You're not really a Chiefs fan," and I was like, "That is so false. I want the Chiefs to win every game. They don't cover the spread, and my model is going to tell me it's not. And I also know that the Chiefs game is going to be an under game, so we're going to go ahead and bet the under.
Right.
And again, I was really happy when our modeling came out and said the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl. We were pumped. We were like, we don't have to go against the model.
Because we would have bet on the
Because
49ers.
if our model said 49ers, I would have put my money on the 49ers and really rooted for the Chiefs, right? I mean,
Right.
and so hopefully, that makes sense. It may not be the answer that you wanted, but there isn't anything out there that's going to sway my opinion from my model. I know my model's good,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I'm not going to question that,
Yeah.
and it's one of those like, I'm like, man, I'm going to bet on the Hornets again. I hate betting on the Hornets, right? But again, we play a system, and that's what we do. And we know our system over the long run is going to hit at those high numbers. And I feel like, it's up to you out there when you're pressing the button what you want to do. If you want to play by the feel, because there's a lot of folks that will do that, right? They're setting on 14, and the dealer has 13, and they're going to go ahead and hit that 14 because they felt like they were getting a 7. Well, that is just kind of the way it doesn't work that way if you play by the feel over the long run.
Yeah, you gotta
In
follow the
handicapping,
rules.
at least
Yeah.
that's in my opinion, because everyone handicaps differently. The experts look at different things, right?
Okay.
The real good ones, and so I can't say that they're any worse at handicapping than me if they don't use a model. But we just know that we have something that's proven, that's tested. We feel
Yeah.
comfortable because this is a hard game. There's been a lot of
Right.
campers, on our site that have come and gone because they're like, oh, I can do this, I can do this. And then when you really have to stick your neck out and put your plays on the line and have them
Right.
graded, it's a different story, right? There's
Absolutely.
no cheating then, to be like, oh, I'm really good. Yeah.
It's easy to say you're good, but
Yeah.
we'll see those numbers.
Right.
Yeah. And that leads to this question because, hey, obviously we talked. I'm a big Chiefs fan. I got burned by the Chiefs many a times this year just because I feel and I know that my Chiefs are going to beat the Raiders every week. Every year.
Absolutely. And the Broncos.
Guess
the
who was on the Raiders that week?
And on Christmas Day, the Raiders broke my heart and they broke my wallet. So, how hard is it for you ladies to be like, hey, let's take my emotions, my feelings out of it and actually stick with what we know it works and stick with the model? Because that has to be hard for me because I knew the Chiefs, they don't never cover. I know that.
You know that?
I was
Right?
like, play the Raiders. It's the Raiders. We kick their ass every year. I know I'm gonna win some money tonight. And Christmas Day happened. So so Christmas Day happened. So how do you fight that, that urge to like, nope, my feelings are gonna give me some money this time. So how do you fight that urge?
Anything. Sometimes I'll just abstain from betting that game because I am definitely more I do that sometimes. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna bet on the Raiders, so I'm like, I'm just not gonna bet on that game today at all. Like I'll just skip it if I really have a feel a certain way about it.
I think it takes time.
But it's lots of experience.
Yeah, I think it takes time. It takes experience to do that. And the thing is too is you have to realize, like say if you're new to betting and you can get hot, right? Maybe you win a couple grand this week, but maybe next week then you're down $5,000, right? I mean, like this is a game again that you have to be smart, be responsible, and maybe you'll catch a field game every once in a while. But again, that's why I suggest that maybe you look to an advisor for something like this. But again, it's your own money. Only you press the button, and I don't want to get death threats because you lost, right? I mean,
Hey, people, stay out the DMs. Leave them alone. Stay out the DMs. Come on.
But I did get under the feels a little bit because everything I won on the Super Bowl. And I was like, and I never do. And we always tell people, don't do futures. Like, it's stupid. I was like, screw it. I'm putting this on a three-peat. So I already...
You did. Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Because I was at the parade.
I'm like, it's not stuff that we normally do. But I was like...
Because here's why. Why would I put... it's a time value of money, right? Why would I put $100 right now on something that's going to happen in a year from now when I could use that $100 to win me lots of money over the next 365 days, right?
Yeah.
Because it's fun. Because it's fun.
So
it's your bankroll. You decide, what you want to do.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So the old saying is, "Scared money don't make no money." How do you ladies feel about that saying when it comes to what you ladies do?
Yeah,
it's true,
risk
right?
comes reward.
Yeah, I mean it's true, and so again, I think it's something that you have to feel comfortable with. Again, this is not where you should pay your play your mortgage payment on basketball games, right? Like it's not the way it should be. I mean, you need to be responsible. But with us, we put our money into our betting account, and we don't touch it for a year or Christmas time or whatever, right?
And we also throughout the when I put my initial deposit in my account, I don't deposit again because I'm not doing stupid stuff and I'm not going all in on anything. So even if all my 20 bets lost that day, I'm like I still have a reserve, and so then I just cut back. I always keep a safety net, so I'm not putting money in every week.
Gotcha.
Generally, I put money in one time a year, and I take out money one time a year.
But we're rather confident though with our plays hitting at a certain amount. Like I said, I'm not scared to put out 50 or 60, games a day. And I,
Right.
put out my whole bankroll on that. You could play $30, $40 a game, like whatever. It doesn't
Right.
matter. And I just feel like if you have something that's proven and you have something that wins, for us, we feel comfortable. But we've also done it,
And
right?
we've
Yeah.
also, like I
Absolutely.
said, watching our dad do this, like our early years of our lives, I'm like, we watched a lot of losses,
Right.
So we've been through all that, and that's why we kept in our brains. I mean, we're problem solvers. We're like, there's got to be a better way, and so that's how we got here.
I love
All
it.
right. Yep. And we got visuals. I'll let you ladies navigate me through this. We're gonna flip now to is it OG Cappers? You guys' the site?
OGcappers.com. There it
Yeah,
is.
that's us.
So it's our new multi-capper site ran by some females, which is pretty awesome because again, a lot of the other
Nice.
stuff that you hear, like, pick dogs and things like that, I mean, those are mostly run by men. We also
Okay.
have 4 females right now that are handicappers. So we're pretty excited to have them on the team as well. But as you can see, everything that we have here is fully documented. So you can see our OG Cappers VIP account went 3-0 yesterday. So that's going to be
Ooh.
statistically our top 3, number 1, right? So we talked about this. We do our modeling and we have percentages versus Vegas. So these are going to be like 65% plays, right? You're getting these today. So we won all of them yesterday, and it's one from each sport. So it's going to be NBA, NHL, and college basketball here right
Okay.
now. And we keep a leaderboard, and you can go ahead and check that out and see what you like. You can also go ahead. I don't know if you're going to be able to get in unless you have a login to see some of the other stuff. Maybe try go
Mm.
ahead and hitting the All Cappers tab up top there.
There we go.
See if it comes up. And you can see our list of cappers. We got some good ones, that's for sure.
All right.
So you can scroll down there and you can see we have some folks that you might notice from Twitter, like Gene Got Picks. He's on there.
Yep.
Tony T. He has tonyspicks.com. You
Hey.
can see EPA Sports. That's Dave. And then here's Latifa, one of our ladies that's from New Jersey. Ron's
Okay.
from Detroit. You can kind of keep going there. Collins played college baseball. I don't
Nice.
know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just we have a really good group of folks.
Chauncey.
You know Chauncey, right? You're like, no.
I just always laugh at the
He's out
name
there
Chauncey from Menace to Society.
okay. Gotcha. But yeah, so as you can see, there's Jerry, so another female on there, our OG Cappers VIP account. And you
Hey.
can keep going down. You'll find us eventually. You'll see us on there.
We are on there. I'm pretty
There's
sure.
me. There's Mindy. And then we
Yeah,
go down.
there we
There's
go.
Tiffany.
Makes me want to color my hair again.
Hey, I can't. I am a little disappointed I didn't get to see the pink hair. I am
Right.
slightly disappointed.
I got some.
And then
at
if you go
home.
down, there's also a two old ladies that bet consensus, right?
Hey.
So this is where me and Tiffany, we look over all of our information. We're like, which ones do we like together the best? And so that's where that comes into play.
And some of those phone calls are entertaining, I can assure you.
Oh yeah, and of course we pick a day that we show our losses in hockey. Of course, our last 4 totals totally messed us up there yesterday. We had the overs; they all went under. Whatever.
I know that's makes me laugh. Somebody asked us one time, they're like, "What's your worst beat?" I'm like, "We get a bad beat in hockey every day, like open net scores."
So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and go down to the OG Cappers there.
Where?
Where was
All the way
it?
down?
Can I pass it?
Right there.
There it is.
Yep. So click on the VIP account, and you can go ahead and see.
Yeah, that's where we
I don't
document our
know
wins and losses.
with the top 10. I mean, our last 10 picks, I don't think are necessarily our last 10. That looks like maybe a computer glitch, but we'll make sure we get that fixed.
Right.
But if you go down, you can see where our premiums are, where our pick
Okay.
packages are. So we have a
Okay.
3-day, a weekly, monthly, and then of course a year-long package. But we did have our. It's late in the day now, so
Okay.
games have already kicked off. But we do have a 3 pick package that we put up for. You can see also down there we have them a la carte. So if you just want a particular game, you can go ahead and check that out. So
Right.
our game, the Minnesota Wild versus Edmonton, is on there. And then also we do a 3-pack of our very, very best bets across the board. for
Okay.
$25 per day. So it is cheaper if you get something that is, in a pick package, of course. And then we have a guaranteed
Absolutely.
best bet. And so all of these daily packages, they
Mm-hmm.
are we consider to be profit guaranteed, meaning that if we don't win 2 out of 3, you will get credits back to your account. And then also you
Nice.
can use the promo code OG20 to get 20% off.
Nice. Awesome. I love how they
Yeah.
tell you like next game starts 42, so yeah, it keeps you on track.
Yeah, and the website's still pretty new, so like I said, we're still working out some kinks and stuff.
Yes.
We're excited to be able to promote it.
Absolutely. I will
Yeah.
definitely be
So yeah, here
signing
you
up
get
for an account
our
one
best of
day.
the best. So like for me and Tiffany, we're high volume.
Mm-hmm.
So we do NBA, NHL, on our single accounts. The OG Cappers is just our very best statistical picks.
Right.
And then we do have a text service. If you watch us on YouTube on the OG Sports Network, if you go
Right.
ahead and text that number, you'll get our number 2 statistical plays. So again, these are highly rated, but they are not always winners. Because again, our number 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 may be the winners for that day.
Right.
But we just know that, statistically speaking, they are going to hit more often than not. But you could get an
Absolutely.
over 3 day, something like that, and then people will be like, "Why did we get over 3?" And I was like, "Well, these are free picks." And you'll win tomorrow, so you'll be okay, right?
Right. And
But
go.
like when we have, if you go to Mindy or Tiffany personally,
Mm-hmm.
we are higher volume bettors. So like we have usually 15 plays on there. So it may be something of what you're comfortable with. If you'd rather have 3 through like OG Cappers, or if you'd
Right.
rather have, say 15 with me, 9 with Tiffany, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however that goes. But again, everything that we have, most of the folks on our site are analytical minds like us.
Okay.
And so we're pretty happy about that.
Awesome. Awesome. And speaking of just thinking of signing up, are there any restrictions to the site, like where a person lives, how they can sign up? Because I know, again, I live in born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, but I live here in Vegas, and actually
Where you can't do
the
anything.
state, yeah, the state, they prohibit us from signing up for a lot of things because they want us to physically go to the casinos.
Yeah.
Sure. So
Uh,
this is just the pick service, right? So you cannot place a bet on our site. This is just
Mhm.
going to be information on those games for you to make
okay.
wagers with. So again, a lot of people may buy something like, we have 15 plays and they may play like 7 of them. Again, advise against that. I say play it as a whole,
Right.
even if you're paying $2 a piece on all of them. Play them as a conglomerate rather than individually, because that's where we run into problem too. That I'll be like, hey, we had a great day. We were like 10-3, and people were like, man, you were like 1-5 or something. And I was like, or like
They
two
didn't.
and
Right.
three because they didn't play the whole gamut. And that's what we're doing is
Mm,
we're trying to come up with winning 55-60% as a whole, not
right.
Mhm.
with which ones you pick and choose, right?
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
but
be
if you're
choosy,
looking
people.
for advice on one game because you want to bet it, I mean, you can do that too. See if we match. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. What kind of legal hurdles you guys face in setting up a site like that?
Oh, well, we don't have anything, specifically,
Okay.
right? I mean, because what we're selling here is
Information.
information, and
Okay.
so it's up to you what you do with that information, right? Like you can do something with or not. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's up to you to push that enter button, and we try to,
Right.
stretch that as much as possible. I mean, this is a risk, game. I think most people, know
Yeah.
that. And again, like there's lots of states where it's not legal that I think, like Missouri, I don't think you can wager anything. You can like the daily fantasy, but it's not like here in Iowa where we can bet at DraftKings or whatever. And we don't
Right.
have any restrictions here. So like I know like say in Oregon, like you can't bet on college sports, but you can bet on pro. So I know sometimes they have it like in Nebraska where you can't bet on the Huskers, right? So for us, there isn't necessarily any hurdles.
We did
Yeah.
struggle with getting the YouTube channel rolling, but,
Oh, yeah.
but we're really not sure. Like
Uh,
because again, that's where we need some like teenagers in our life to help us with some.
Well, they were
Yeah.
saying that perhaps we were guaranteeing too much, right? And I'm like, no, that's not ever how we, try to present ourselves, right? There is risk, and again, I'm not giving you plays. You watched our show today. I say on there, this is 55%. This is not 100. I'm not guaranteeing this
Right.
pick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you like it and you feel good about it, this is our best pick on the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely. See, I'm that guy. I'm 100% on everything. I'm telling you to book it. Book it now. Go put it down. But to be fair, and Mark can attest for this, I would say not overall, but my upset success rate is like
pretty good.
90%. It's like 90%.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I called the 49ers losing to the Browns this year, not because I'm a fan. I picked the Cardinals first win. I picked the who else was
So you're good at finding
terrible?
spots. It sounds like that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just when the upsets are coming, like I know it. Oh yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah.
I called
you've
Baltimore
obviously
blowing
figured out
out
a
the
pattern.
49ers. Yeah, I called Baltimore blowing out the 49ers like 2 weeks before that. Just no
Nice.
way. Yeah.
Well, that's
so
awesome.
yeah,
Congrats.
the upset, but as a whole, we're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna go leave with the upsets. Just leave with the upsets. Before we wrap the convo, you got anything else, Mar, before we move on to a different subject?
No, I this was fantastic, and I appreciate the time that you ladies have given us, because it has helped me become a smarter, better, just listening, clearly. Because there were some times where you ladies were talking, I'm like, I've had that bad habit. I've had that bad habit. And then I look at all the bad habits that y'all named. I'm like, damn, how much money did I go through with all those bad habits? I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
But no, this was very fantastic, though.
Thank you.
Before we move on, any words of wisdom or encouragement for others trying to get into the space you guys are in?
Again, it is a game of failure. So I think it is something that you really have to have the wherewithal to really have that, pull through it attitude. That's what I always remind my, the cappers on the site, the new people that have never done it before. Because my very first time that, I started going on a live show consistently, I lost my first 9 picks that I put out. And I was like,
Right.
what the heck, right? And that's what I have to remind them. I was like, with sports betting, every day is a new day that you can start a hot streak, right? That's kind of the way it is. And I sometimes even suggest people out there, if you're looking for a service like ours at ogcappers.com, that you could literally just go ahead and buy a 3-day package for the hot capper, the hot capper, the hot capper, because you're always having a hot capper, and that's another way to maybe think about your bankroll. Maybe I don't have to go through the ups and downs like one capper does all season. Maybe I can just stay with someone that's hot and continue there. But you have to remember, sports betting is hard. This is a hard game. And it's one of those, like, it's probably not going to be a get rich quick. It's going to be, you consistently do the same thing. You consistently get your money in. I can't stress that enough. Right. So some of the ways that you can look at it is, instead of doing the 1 to 5% of your bankroll, I would maybe take half, put that back, and take that whole other half and divide it up by your number of games you're going to bet today. And you put that out there to get yourself started. That way you always have a little bit in reserve if you feel comfortable. I mean, that's not what I do. I push it all in every day.
That's still what I do, because I'm a little bit more conservative. So I do about 75% of my bankroll is what I bet every day. And again, that's because we're different people and we see things differently.
Right.
We do things differently. And I don't think either of us is wrong, but it's just our approach.
And that's all we're doing is.
And you have to be comfortable with what you're betting. Because I also have this, like, I don't know. I believe that if you just think you're going to lose, you're going to lose. Like, don't. If you don't have good thoughts, don't do it.
She leaves more things up to the universe than I.
Yeah.
I do have to ask this, ladies, before we end.
Sure.
What do you ladies feel about the I guess the superstition? Because when I bet, I try not to watch the game, because I feel like if I watch the game, I'm going to lose my money. So, like, is there any kind of superstitions that you ladies have when you make those bets? Because I'm telling you, I'm like, every time I make the bet and I end up watching the game, I end up blowing all my damn money. I'll be like, just don't watch, Mark, just don't watch. And then let me hit my app and let me see if I got deposited money. Oh yes, oh I won. So
I do love that. Like sometimes, like I'll go to bed early or something, and I wake up and that's the first thing I check in the morning, and I'm like, hell, like I text Mindy, I'm like, sweet, like we obviously hit all those. I'm like, I was in bed. That's my favorite. But I don't really have any betting superstitions, but like the Chiefs and the Super Bowl, my husband bought a new Chiefs shirt, and I was like, you can't wear that today. Like, what are you thinking? Like,
no. That's a legit superstition. I literally wore the same thing I wore all season, and literally, like, I have a weird superstition. So the whole family dresses up. The dog, all three of my daughters, the wife, we all wear the same Chiefs, get up for every game. When they lose, we got to wash it. And we don't wash it. We don't wash it until they lose again. So there's been times where we were in the same funky, stinking ass clothes for 7 weeks. Well, because they haven't lost, and that's just a weird superstition, and so we just rock with it. So if you ever see a family with a dog that is really stinky wearing Chief stuff, it happens.
And the Chiefs are on like a 10-win streak. Yeah, we'll stay away.
Yeah, that's a need to know basis, right? We need to know.
Hey, I'm just letting you know.
Right.
All right. And if you're just tuning in, obviously we are having a conversation. Oh, go.
My superstition really is like if I go to a live game or something, like I always bet on it because it makes it more entertaining. I mean, so that's the game. If I watch it, I've got money on it. I need to have a little game.
I couldn't. That's one thing I couldn't do. I can't go bet on the game because if it gets out of hand, I'm going on the field or the court. Somebody like if I bet on the game and freaking like Lamar Jackson throws a pick that costs me money, I'm on the field, bro. I'm tackling Lamar. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Lamar Jackson is dead to me. Whatever.
But for folks just tuning in, we are talking to two ladies that bet, Mindy and Tiffany, about gambling, and while we're at it, guess we could throw this up. I missed my cue earlier, and I do my own cues. That's kind of messed up. But go ahead and follow the directions on the screen. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on, so you know the next times we are here running our traps. And back to the ladies. The old, that just sounds weird.
I know.
It sounds weird coming out of my mouth.
You say oldish.
It's because my grandmother's from the South, and she heard me call somebody an old lady. I'm not gonna say what would happen to me, but it ain't good.
But that's why with the OG cappers, we're kind of like original gamblers or old gals,
there you go.
So we were like trying to keep it relevant, but.
But see, we also, well, that's the thing is we needed to get rid of a little bit because we didn't want everyone still thinks at OG Cappers that people running it are men, and sometimes that works to our advantage, right? So we're kind of okay with that sometimes because they're like, hey, how are you guys doing? Thinking that we're guys. So it kind of helps us out because our demographic is ultimately 25 to 56-year-old men. So
that's our target audience.
Yeah, I mean, we would like to definitely bring more women to the table, but it's hard to do. It's hard to get that out of there.
But it just really helps with the big bump in women's sports. And there was just that commercial recently. I can't remember what it was for, but it was basically the girl was like, "You're betting against the home team," and it was it was the two ladies.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Like that.
Yeah, that was the Bet ESPN.
My day.
Yeah.
I was like, this is that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's becoming more mainstream for females to be involved and stuff. So
absolutely, and that's a great segue.
And your audience is going to continue to grow because I think we're just reaching more
I think audiences. Every day there's also people turning 18. There's also more, 21. There's also more folks that are going to make gambling legal in states that they are not. Preferably, we're hoping the big ones: California, Texas, Florida.
There you go.
What are they doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They,
They rather get
I'm not doing it. I'm not
they
doing
rather get
politics.
high. They rather get high.
Doing politics stuff.
You know,
But
smoke, sell the ganja. No.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, how can you legalize weed before gambling? Like,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Hey,
But yeah, that's
just-
a conversation for another day.
I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at legalizing the marijuana. Okay, you know, hey,
I know.
for me, it helps keep the murder rate down. That's all I'm saying. But,
We went to the Chiefs Super Bowl parade, and
I was there too. I was there too.
my kids were like, "What's that smell?" And I was like, "That's the smell of lower property taxes."
No, it's weird that you say that because me and the wife was at the parade too, and you know, because I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, and I moved away before they legalized it. So when I come back, I'm like, this is so odd for me that it's just.
I know, it's like walking down the street in Vegas because I was like, "Dang!" Like,
But they haven't legalized sports gambling, so everybody in Missouri literally comes to the state line, and you can see them parked on the side of the highway making their bets, and then they go
that's
right
what all
back.
the
It happens here with Nebraska too. Yeah.
they go
It's
park
so-
at the gas station and place their bets, and
Yes.
Drive back home.
Yes, you lady said you were in Iowa. I spent time in Iowa. Look how full circle this is.
I know, right? I know.
I graduated from West Des Moines Valley
Okay.
in West Des Moines, Iowa, so I am quite
Yeah, so
familiar
we're in
with
Council
Iowa.
Bluffs, which is only what,
Too far.
you know.
Yeah.
2 hours,
Nice.
whatever. Yeah.
Please. See, Midwest people, it's all love, baby.
It's perfect.
All love. I love
I
it.
am a frequent visitor of the Iowa 80 truck stop on my travels along 480 throughout the
Nice,
years.
Nice. There you go. Very
is
good.
that the world's largest truck stop?
It is. I think it. Well, I think it still is though. But
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely.
absolutely.
But yep. Took it. I'm there. I think
You
they
go
had a
to the
movie.
car
They used to have
races
a
there.
movie theater in there.
So they
Yeah.
used to have a movie theater in there?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still. I haven't been there in a while, but they used to have a movie theater in there.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But switching over and that's just a good segue into you guys trying to get more women involved in betting in sports. This brings us to currently there is an uptick of female involvement not only in playing sports, in gambling, and just being represented in areas that once upon a time, like when I was a kid, you would never see a female. Prime examples, coaching Becky Hammond. She was assistant with the Spurs for a long time.
Yeah. I still
and
think she
now-
might be in line for Popovich, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so,
she's still
too.
in line for when he retires. I think that might be why she was. I think she was in the running for the Bucks job, if I'm not mistaken. This past year,
Raptors.
it was one of them. But
The Raptors.
yeah, I think that's why she turned it down. I think she's waiting for the Spurs. But I'm a Browns fan. We have Callie Brownson, one of our assistant coaches. We just had the first female GM, even though she was relieved of duties with the Raiders. What do you guys? How do you guys feel? Now I know you guys. You say you were heavily influenced by your dad growing up and by getting into sports, but nowadays young women actually have other women in positions to look up to. How do you feel about the evolution of women in sports, in mainstream sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting better, right? I still feel like, there's going to be, I think, more to come than, first before women will catapult, right? Especially because I think more, there needs to be more Black coaches, obviously should be the first thing that happens, because look at who you're representing. You're still a whole bunch of old white guys, and I don't think that that's, appropriate for where we are in society nowadays, right?
She said it, not me.
No, it's true.
With any business, though, like you
Absolutely.
want a diverse management team because people see things differently. It's kind of like your lion guy at the MGM. Like if they would have had an Asian person around, they could have said, "Hey, yeah, like that's a bad idea." So it's important. Like even with us working together, like our brains work so differently. That's what makes us a good team because
Right.
I mean, if we saw things the exact same way, I don't think we'd be as successful. And if we didn't argue a little bit, be like, you're an idiot. We're sisters, we can say that. But I think it's important to have different viewpoints and different life experiences to be successful as a team.
But I think that what I'm saying is I'm thinking that, more Black representation in coaching will probably come more be for women in
Yeah,
coaching,
absolutely.
and I hope I hope it does. Honestly, I hope it does, because I feel like that should be the natural regression when you're in a male-dominated sport. I
Right.
also feel like, there is. Like, I think it's great that Sabrina went up against, Steph Curry,
Yeah.
right? Women still can't compete against men, no matter how you look at it, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the physiology and the makeup. So, I mean, we want to make things equal, but it's rather impossible, right? Like, I can probably squat and bench more than a lot of men, but not the elite men. Like,
Uh,
it's not gonna happen that way. And that's the same thing here. Like, I still feel like, for as far as we've come, there's still things where women could help, like, say, on the
mm-hmm.
broadcasting side, right? It came out
Okay.
with Holly Rowe today, right? They're kicking off the college football video, EA Sports, right?
Right.
That's coming out in 25. That's going to be similar
Mm-hmm.
to the Madden. But look at all of the men that's representing or represented in there. It's all men. And Holly Rowe is
Right.
like, hey, I've been on the sidelines for 20 years and you're not going to put me on your video game? Like, what's up with that, right?
Right.
And I think there are going to be some of those hurdles where women could excel on the broadcasting side. Women could excel inside maybe a coaching booth, right? But I don't think they should be head coaches or anything like that. I just don't think, like, for me, I would always prefer to have a female coach rather than a male.
Okay.
But again, I think it's everyone's own, how they feel about that. But I just think that women could be represented more in the press box, places where it maybe doesn't have to do as much with the sport itself. Even though, like, I don't know, I feel like I know the game as well as, some. I mean, I never played football. I feel like I know the game as well as those that do, but I'll never
Right.
really know, right? I'll really never have that experience. I'll really never know that knowledge of being there and
Yeah.
seeing it from a tackle position, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think we've come a long way. But then again, you have something come up like this. That's Holly Rowe is like, hey, I've been in sports for 20 years, and
Yeah.
I get passed over on something that's supposed to represent, the face of football right now.
But I think
Right.
ultimately it really starts with the parents and the kids. And, my son's a basketball player, and I feel like it's my duty to. He knows WNBA just as much as he knows NBA, right? Like, I feel like
Right.
that's my duty. And I think it's important, just to teach people that, it's a little bit different. But I mean, personally, like, I prefer to watch WNBA. Like, some NBA games are almost unwatchable. In the grand scheme, like,
You're
it's
not
good bad.
Uh,
you're not lying there.
yeah. Tell me about it.
It's like, I just think it's important. I mean, when, like, with the current we talked about, like, it's like I take my kids to all the. We've got a new women's volleyball team.
Mhm.
Are they pros? Are they pro?
Yeah, they're pro.
They just started, like, here a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, that's stuff. I think it's important to take your kids, teach them young. Like, it's just as valuable
Yeah.
to have females as it is to have males.
Mm-hmm. No
Absolutely.
doubt.
Absolutely.
Because people can bring different perspectives. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's all it is. People need to bring perspectives, bring knowledge, bring culture, and I think we just need to overall be nice to each other. The end.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting on the networks to get more involved. Like, I was part of the pushes. Is like, basketball is what it is. Is yes, they lucked up and Michael Jordan decided to become a professional basketball player, but the networks also help. Like, they put him on TV every 20 seconds. Like, you can't tell me that didn't help boost Michael Jordan's career. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just wish, instead of hiding behind the number, like, ESPN, you're not gonna go bankrupt. I'm sorry. You can give me a 2-hour slot nightly of the WNBA game of the week, the
Yeah.
women's soccer. You can give me the slots and stop trying to say, oh well, the sponsor, we're not getting. Put it on them. You
And-
force so many terrible basketball players down my throat every Wednesday because we have to show the Kings because somebody on the East Coast is a Kings fan. No.
Yeah, like, it's just regional coverage. I'm like, no, like, show us something we want to watch. But
Yeah.
it's true, and especially as there's so many sports channels. I'm like, why are we watching cornhole Like sometimes I see things like that and I'm like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah, so cornhole gets more than college softball or
yeah.
women's NBA. So
Right, and it's like the quick, like the WNBA has been around for, we're going on almost
About
30 years,
25,
right?
26
Years,
years.
yeah.
25, 26
Okay.
years, yeah.
ESPN literally took the Ocho from the movie Dodgeball and have now turned it into a yearly thing, and they've done it in less than 3 years. Like, you can do the same thing with women's sports.
Yeah.
You literally can. They just, to me, like,
And that's what I assume they just think that it's not going to get the ratings, but like you can't get the ratings if you don't put it out there. I mean, it's like when you start
Exactly.
anything, like with your podcast, I'm like, not many people are going to watch your first one, but you know what? You keep doing it, you keep doing good stuff. People
absolutely.
just come back.
it's the same thing though. Like when it was time for the WNBA championship, they had it at like a 3:30 versus an NFL game. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's
Right.
going on with that? And it's the same thing they do it for, college softball, right? You had Oklahoma that had won like 40 games straight, where it's like, that kind of streak, you're better off getting hit by lightning. Like literally, like that's what kind of streak that was.
Yeah.
And again, that game was played at 2:30 p.m. on a Monday. Like a women's college world series where they were going for the record. They couldn't even put it on prime time. And they know that those sports are becoming more popular because right now the Women's College World Series brings in more than the Men's College World Series here in Omaha. And it has for years now, but they're still not able to quite make that flip of the switch for whatever reason. Like you said, I
Right.
still think there's some of that implicit bias when it comes to women. Like, these women, they can't compete. Like, they're not as good as the men. Which is true. But again, I think you need to take everything as its own body of work, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Patty Gasso and the Lady Sooners, man. Me and the wife tried to get tickets because we're 45 minutes or probably not that far from Lawrence to see 3-game sets. They were sold out, so we no. Me and Bobby had.
People are watching.
Oh yeah, no, they really are, and I could probably speak for Bobby on this. We love sports, so I never had that. I just look at men versus women. No, I love all sports, and there are times where the women bring it better than the men. Like the NCAA basketball tournament last year.
Oh yeah, I think that did so much for women's sports. The LSU Iowa stuff, like
Yeah.
And I love having those characters like Angel
Absolutely.
Reese stuff. I mean, like it's the perfect storm. Like she's beautiful, she's tough, she's athletic. I'm like I want to be her. Like that's the best thing that really can happen to some of these sports.
Like Caitlin Clark should be on TV every night, but she's chasing Pistol Pete. She's chasing the all-time NCAA scoring record. If this, like again, you shoved Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa down my freaking throat every at bat. You interrupted my calves so many times to show me Sammy Sosa strike out.
I almost caught Sammy Sosa's like 23rd. Okay.
Instead, she just knocked over someone's
still
beer. Whatever.
But yeah, there's no reason Caitlin Clark every Caitlin Clark game right now shouldn't be televised.
Well, look at how she's getting, harassed too, is saying, oh, you don't play as many games, you don't do this, you're a 5-year senior, blah, blah, blah. Like, again, records are meant to be broken. That's what makes this sport great, right? Like I held, I was the all-time walk leader at UNO for 25 years. And then someone finally comes and beats it because they literally have played 78 games when I played 56, whatever. But who cares? Like, that's what this is for. Like, we don't keep records with the asterisks like, well, you have to be at this percentage of it. So I think it's great whenever someone can be exceptional at what they do. And again, I was the person that I'm like, the more steroids, the better, because I love it. I see lots of home runs. It makes this great. I don't, I
don't think it helps you hit a ball.
It doesn't,
I mean, you're going to be talented enough to hit that ball. I mean, you might hit it further, but hey, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I say all is fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She always says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
True story.
There you go. I was all about that. Let them all take steroids and just let's see who's the best. Come on.
Bill Belichick would agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so we probably
But
got some not normal
what
takes.
do?
Yeah. I think we try to be
Um,
realistic as to,
yeah.
how things go, right? We're not going to be pie in the sky folks, just hoping for a miracle. We know things always evolve slowly, even though we'd like for them to go fast. They go slow, right?
And that's what I remind myself that all the time too, because it's like sometimes you just feel like you spin your wheels, but you look backwards and you're like, we really have come a long way. So you
Mhm.
got to take time to maybe appreciate all that stuff too,
Yeah.
and with everything in your life, ultimately.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the next major step will be, uh, as it pertains to women in professional sports?
Well, I do think for me, I do think it's going to be that basketball head coach. I think that's what's going to
Okay.
come next. Probably Becky Hammond, and I
Mhm.
think she would probably be good at that role. I think
Mhm.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough go for her, but I wouldn't want anyone else to probably try to be the first, at that. It's going to be tough,
Right.
just like it's going to be for the first woman president. Whenever that happens, it's going to totally suck, but you need to
Yeah.
have someone to go first, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's going to go.
Right.
And
Somebody,
she's
somebody
probably
got
going to
to take
fail a
it.
lot, especially with a team called the Spurs. I mean, they're not good, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's another thing, but I mean, for me, that's how I see it, because you pretty much got everything else, covered. I think that's the
Yeah.
natural progression, is that one for me.
Well, and I think
Okay.
ultimately it's the TV stuff. Like I think it is like the women's sports is going to start competing with men's sports for viewership, and I think we will see more prime time and
Right.
more featuring teams, and like there should be, and I think that's definitely coming
What
too.
happened to that ESPNW? Did that ever just not take off, where that was supposed to be the whole ESPN channel of just women's sports? I mean, they were advertising it, what, 4 or 5 years ago, and then I don't
Yeah.
know where they.
It's
But I thought that one might have been like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like that could be
right.
a little bit of a launch point. Like at least it's there.
Right.
Like it
I
may
think
not be
I
the
think they kind of morphed it into other things
okay.
like segments on shows or
Mm.
spots in magazines that they had, and it just kind of I don't. I wish they would have been able to just stick with it and just don't fold under the pressure and just hey, like you said, trust me, my first podcast I did, it was terrible. I look back at it all the time because I want to see.
What are you talking about? This podcast is terrible.
No, because I want to see my progression. And I
Right.
look first episode I've ever did. I'm like, man, I could definitely see the progression and where I'm at now. So it's like, ESPN, they could have, like you said, Bobby, they are backed by the mouse, Mickey Mouse. Disney is not. They're not going bankrupt no time soon. So it's like you can be okay with rocking with ESPNW and seeing where it goes, because I mean, if you see the evolution of it, of women's sports in general, even I'm 36 years old. From where it was when I first was watching sports, where it's at now, it's leaps and bounds.
Mm.
I mean, we are a long way from from the 99ers and how much popularity that they had, into where even women's soccer is now. So I
Mm.
mean, I love to see it, especially since I've become a father of three girls. It gives me hope that, hey, my daughters
There is
can do whatever the hell they want to. They can do whatever the hell
Right.
they want to.
right, and we
So
talk
I
about
love it.
yeah, we talk about that, and one of our good friends is a coach, a softball coach, and the
In
stuff.
college.
Uh, our
Nice.
opportunities, like we didn't even start playing sports till like junior high as females, and now I mean those girls are starting, at t-ball with the
Absolutely.
boys, and we were kind of asking about that, but she's like the kids in like junior high, high school are doing the same stuff we were doing in college. I mean, so they've got them caught up. Like they're so much more advanced and they're so much better than like we ever were because we just didn't have the opportunities.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
And
love
like
to
I
see
mean,
it.
ESPN. If you need a hand in developing ways to get these women on TV. I know somebody who started a network from the ground up, built it from the ground up.
I'm
Uh,
interested.
everybody knows her. Everybody knows who she is. She started a magazine from the ground up.
Oprah.
Oprah.
Absolutely. Why can't somebody make that phone call? Yo, we want to do this. She's been involved in several potential ownership purchases,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure she would be down to help grow all women's sports.
So you know
Like,
her, so you can get us in. All right, awesome.
Yeah, I'll make that call.
And she's never shy of making money. So hello,
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
well,
yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to make money? That's what we're all here to do, right?
But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
she's really a prime example of a successful woman that so many people hate her for no reason. Like, there's no reason to hate Oprah. Like, why would anybody hate Oprah? Like, you can't.
know.
Like, she's a national treasure, right?
She did it her way. That's
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can think of. But there was one or two. Well, we have, I'm skipping All-Star stuff. I'm skipping the All-Star weekend is so disappointing. I'm skipping that.
I think we should skip it in the future. It should just be the slam dunk and the 3-point, and we call it good.
That's where it's headed. But
with the way the slam dunk,
you don't want to
I
talk
don't
about
even
it at
know
all.
if you can continue that.
the highlight of the weekend was definitely Sabrina versus Steph, and I think Reggie Miller said it on the broadcast that they should think about doing that or expanding on that idea, like have it where it could be a WNBA versus NBA or like a tag team. And I think that'd be awesome.
Or even if they did like a mixed, two boys and two ladies, on a team together, like played against each other that way or something. It'd be awesome if they mixed it up a little bit. But what we watched or what nobody watched is not working.
Yeah, and you can't even put more money at it. Like, they're already so rich. I mean, you can't even put more money at it. They're like, oh, another 150,000, whatever. Don't care.
Yeah. The game is just. My original idea was just to because you get 24 All-Stars, add one more guy, make it even 25. Let 5 guys captain up, pick squads, and just have like a 5-on-5 tournament for like 3 hours. Yeah. And go to every game to 11. Winner take all though. We're giving like $5,000 just for being named an All-Star, and then give like the winning team like $500,000.
Yeah, but
winner take all $500,000.
There you go.
Why are we incentivizing rich guys to put in effort at an All-Star game? Why? Just get rid of it. No, just get rid of it. We should not be at this point that I got to incentivize rich people to get in effort to play a sport that you supposedly love. I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to play it, then take it out. Get rid of it. Because it's to me it's silly. It's silly that because you are in that position in the NBA because supposedly you love the game of basketball so much that you took it to heart, that you put in the effort. You took away time from family and friends to dedicate yourself to the game, but you can't dedicate yourself to compete for the fans that make you rich. Because if we don't come and show up, if we don't pay for the content, where are you getting this income from? So my thing is if that's not enough motivation for you, then I don't know what to tell you. So get rid of it.
Yeah, we agree completely. Like, just do the exhibition stuff.
And boot it.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like with the NFL. I mean, they do the flag football. Like, that's kind of fun to watch, and then they kind of made it fun with the Peyton and Eli being the coaches and stuff. I mean, it's kicky and it's fun. Like, that's you can't expect it to be competitive.
Yeah, and I don't mind the new format for the NFL Pro Bowl because like you said, Tiffany, it is fun to watch and they make it entertaining. And because at the point they're trying to entertain, and I get it.
Yeah. That's what
but that crap that you put on last Sunday NBA. No, literally, I gave up the remote, and my wife can out on her hand that I have given up the remote on a Sunday, and I said, baby, here you go.
You're watching 90 Day Fiance now.
That's exactly what we was watching. 90 Day Fiance. We was watching whatever city the Desperate Housewives were at. They was in Potomac or New York or I don't know the Housewives. Yeah, we was watching Housewives or somewhere. So I had to give up the remote. That was a travesty. I love sports, and you made a mockery of sports that Sunday. I didn't like it. I think
a lot of people feel the exact same way.
All right, but before we get out of here, ladies, we used to do something every Friday. Call it Fit Friday.
I have to run? I don't want to do that.
Not that kind of fit.
Okay,
mentally fit. It's our mental fit. You know,
okay,
mental
good.
fitness has obviously become bigger over the last few years. And me and Mar, we take a different angle because for men, it's something different. It's we are just not bred to care. Put it like that. We're not bred to care. We're not
Yeah.
bred to care about how we're doing, what's going on with anybody else. We're not allowed to express ourselves or cry or show any type of emotion. So every Friday we kind of discuss mental health. Usually we make it about men, especially black men, how sheltered we
I
are.
appreciate
But
that. Yeah.
you guys can give us your thought on just mental health overall. We're making what's the word I'm looking for? Unisex.
Yeah, there you go.
Unisex fit day, and we usually close out with a tip or a challenge for everybody. Give you an example. Last week, I challenged everybody to gather everyone in their household, or for single people, get that the next time you have a friend stop by, before things get going, turn off all electronics, TVs, phones, etc., and just have like a 15-minute conversation. Not a serious how you doing, just a conversation about anything else personal. Just to get communication. It's good to just talk. So,
Yeah,
if
and
you
that's
guys
like,
have something,
yeah, on like men's mental health, because my understanding is, I guess I've always learned that like when women have mental health issues, they really rely on their friends and their friend group.
right?
Whereas when men struggle, they tend to be alone. They tend to go off by
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And I
Hmm.
think that that's really my tip is, there's always people that care. You don't have to be alone. I mean, get out of your house. Like, go
It's
have a
great.
conversation with a stranger. I mean, somebody like me, you sit next to me in a restaurant, and I'll talk your ear off. You know what I mean? And you know what? Suddenly you got a new friend.
I
But
love it.
you're not gonna find that if you're just sit at home, feeling upset. So that's my tip: is don't be alone. If you're
That's
down,
excellent. Get out the house.
absolutely.
Right. See, what we always did, thing that always comes to my mind, like immediately, is growing up, no matter how dysfunctional our family was, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still sat down at the dinner table every day, every night. That's what we did. And it's kind of the same thing. Like you tend to talk and, get
Right.
that out. I also feel like sometimes you need to just let things go, right? So if you are, also struggling, I don't know, to just kind of turn it off and redirect your focus or find something new.
And that's coming straight from the handicappers. I mean, because like I said,
They talk me off the ledge every once in a while, right? I
yeah,
mean, like I
Mm-hmm.
know it doesn't make sense to maybe some of you guys, but I mean, if you get on a bad losing streak and you're
Oh
losing and you're
yeah.
losing and you're losing, and you get sometimes like we have this cool TV setup, right? We got 5 TVs, they're all nice. We can watch all these different
Hey.
games, and sometimes even for me, it gets overwhelming. So you just have
Right.
to shut
yeah,
it down,
yeah.
turn it off, and not watch sports or whatever. I mean, that doesn't probably go to maybe everyone's mental health. I'm not probably not helping with that so much, but maybe somehow
No,
just kind of
you
turn
are.
things off and do something else. You know, that's
Right.
kind of what I think.
No, I
That's
think it's
yeah.
great. You
Absolutely.
did help, Mindy. It's because sometimes break up the monotony, kind of reset, and introduce something that takes you out of your normal,
Yep.
everyday routine, so that you can
Yeah.
kind of reset the mental. Trust me, it helped. It
Right.
helped. So,
Yeah.
um, my tip this week is to especially right now in Kansas City area, we got some good weather. Get outside.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
literally, smell just.
Right.
Stop biting. Tiffany already said that. You biting.
No, she said get out the house. I'm just saying, like, go out and just
Okay.
like,
Enjoy.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like do a
Well,
little breathing exercise and like breathe in the fresh Kansas
Yeah.
City air.
And
That's not
Bobby might
marijuana
not
influence.
understand, well, you do from Cleveland, but like seasonal defective disorder is a real thing. Like winter is a mental health killer.
you
Like
get
Oh
the
yeah.
case of the blues, that's for sure.
you get that
Oh yeah.
sunshine.
It
Yeah,
is,
Oh,
and the
no,
fact that
yeah.
we do not have snow on the ground right now in
yeah,
late February is a blessing. So, like,
absolutely.
take advantage of this good weather that we're getting and just go out and breathe in the good Kansas City air. Hopefully it's marijuana free and just, breathing exercises. That's all. That's
or whatever
all.
you prefer.
Yeah. He quit hating on me, Bobby. Damn.
All right. My tip for this week, it's great that Mindy see this is how I know we're in tune. Because she's got her notebook right there, and I'm gonna do it again. A couple weeks ago, my challenge was to write a letter to your significant other. Was to write a letter and actually physically put it in the mail so that they receive it in the mail. Today, I'm gonna kind of go on that similar route. My challenge to everybody is, and I'll make it short for this week. Sit down this weekend and just write a letter to yourself on something that you want to accomplish this week. Sit down, put it somewhere, and then at the end of the week, open it up and see if you were able to accomplish that goal. Just a quick goal. Don't, nothing tremendous. Just do whatever. If it's lose a pound that week. If it's not drink Starbucks every day, so no matter how small or big, just write it down, put it somewhere where you get it, and then check on yourself next weekend.
Bobby, I'm too good of a cook. The minute I lose that pound, I'm gaining it back, sir. So,
but at least you lost it.
But then you can take your own advice and go for a walk in the night air.
I love bacon.
Tell me about it. Hey, I got some strawberry cheesecake banana pudding in the fridge right now that I can't wait to get to.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, we haven't eaten yet. We're probably Buffalo Wild Wings, something like that.
Go ahead. Hey, go ahead and drop the Addy, dog. I'll be there soon. That cheesecake.
I also want to add on to your writing a letter thing because I recently discovered that kids today don't know how to mail a letter. I mean, so if you've got kids, I feel like that's really a skill that it's kind of dying because we don't put stamps on things. We don't address envelopes. I mean, so make a little family thing. Make sure your kids know how to send a letter. But because a lot of people don't know how to buy a stamp.
A dying art. Cursive.
First, make sure they know how to write. Yeah, I was gonna say that most kids don't know how to write cursive.
I'm like, how do you write your signature when it's not a signature anymore? I don't know.
Do they teach that in school anymore?
No.
But I find that no, they just print it. Like my daughter's driver's license, she's got a printed name on her driver's license. It's not a signature. It's
wow,
crazy.
They taught us cursive in school growing up. That's wild. Times are changing. Oof.
But yeah, our friend who I mentioned is a softball coach. She had a student, a college softball player, needed to mail a form to her parents, and she brought in the envelope, and she had wrote like the address and the stuff like across the top, like a paragraph of the envelope. Like she didn't realize that you put the address in the middle, and stuff. I just thought it was funny. My kids probably don't know that either.
Things you learn on a podcast.
Hey, before we get out of here, I know these people are tired of hearing me run my mouth. Anything you guys want to close with before we get out of here, ladies?
No, we appreciate your time. We love what you do. We think it's important to put everyone's voices out there because, again, I think as a society, this is how we learn and how we all get along, and I feel like that's important.
And OG Cappers, check us out.
Yeah,
there you go. And we will get all that information and make sure it is in the description.
Yes. Plug away, ladies. No, plug away all your content because we need people to make sure that they can follow your content and enjoy it, receive it, take it in. So if you want to plug, websites, YouTube channels, please do all of that. We'll definitely put it in the description, but if you want to verbally do it right now to the audience, please do.
So you can go to ogcappers.com and you can pick up our very best bets from some of our expert cappers. Again, there's a promo code. It's called OG20. So you get 20% off of all of your purchases. You can find us on Twitter at OGcappers. You can also find us, me and Tiffany, that is, on Two Old Ladies That the Number One, because it's too long. Twitter made us, shorten all that up. But you can follow us there. So we give out some fun, free stuff. And then we will be having a Discord. We have it right now. It's some of our other cappers are kind of, kicking that off. So you can go ahead and join us for free in the Discord as well. So you can get some more tips and tricks. And we like to see where you guys are going to games and all that kind of fun stuff. As well. So that's just OG Cappers on the Discord. You can find us there as well. That's kind of, I think, covers most of our social media. We're currently mostly everywhere. You can find Two Old Ladies at Bet, but not everywhere yet that you can find OG Cappers. We've only been going live here for like the last month. So we appreciate the time. It's good timing. And I think you guys do great work. So keep that up.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And again, we appreciate you guys for coming on, joining the conversation, making yourself heard. Wishing you all the success, and I hope your earnings grow exponentially every week. I read the dictionary this morning.
Oh, yeah. I
we
see.
We hope you guys have us back because it was a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Let me see. I'm not huge in the baseball football season, definitely.
Absolutely.
Or maybe March Madness.
No, I'm 24/7, baby. I'm trying to get rich. What you talking about?
It's like this is a podcast during March Madness.
I'm trying to turn this betting into a job, so I ain't got to go to a real job, so I can just be at the house. What are you talking about, sir?
Hey, and of course, next time you ladies are in Vegas, hey, first round's on me. Just let me know.
Poker.
For everybody else out there, thank you for watching, tuning in. Make sure you go ahead and follow the instructions right there. Just go ahead, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe, share, turn your notifications on so you know next time we are here talking that talk, which will be next Friday, as we are every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. And remember, if you don't like looking at my beautiful face as well, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music at midnight, because I got to mix sound and stuff. But other than that, once again, thank you very much to Mindy and Tiffany for joining us. Go ahead, check out that website, OG Kappas. You can catch me and Mar on Twitter's Audible Pod. Catch myself, Audible_BobG, and Mar, KC Wildcard Mar. Hit us up on our socials. We want the smoke, so bring it.
Yes, sir.
And till next week, we out, y'all.